What about it, YouTube? All right, please watch my previous video, or most importantly, watch the link in the previous video called Why Noahide. That's the discussion here, and the guy that presents the video does a dynamite job, but there's going to be one area that I disagree with him on. So as you wind down to the end of the video, especially, and he mentions it throughout a little bit, but the way he sees things is that it's this battle that goes on is between the Catholic Church and then the enmity, the inversion and the enmity towards God. But that that's the battle lines, and that I think he said it this way, that Christ wanted a unity in the church. And so then he craps on everything that's happened since, like Luther and the Anglican thing, and the way there was this esoteric aspect to Elizabethan era and England's aspirations to be a colonial superpower, and the discussions that were going on at the time between them and the rest of Europe, or the main continent of Europe. Anyway, he has his, and I'm not saying that there's not some truth in there. That's fine, sure. But here's where I have a problem. Okay, so where did Jesus say that the way to heaven is to be a Catholic? Where? Okay, where did Paul say it? Where did any look? There was no such thing to begin with. There was no such identity of Catholic until maybe the 4th century with Constantine, maybe, or the 3rd century, whatever it would be, 325, I think, around in there. And then that was a merger, like a political decision that was made that merged this Christianity at the time into, right, all of our holidays and stuff. Am I wrong there? Like Saturnalia and Christmas became, and Easter and the bunny rabbits and the fertility thing, and that was pagan, that just so everybody could have a holiday at the same time or something, I guess, I don't know, and merged it together, right, into, and then at some point, then over the next couple centuries, Rome starts to fall apart and transfer power. The Pontiff Maximus, that pontiff title, goes on from being the Roman emperor goes on to being the Catholic Pope, and the vicar, the title of vicar goes over to. So I get that there's a lineage there that carried on, that allowed Christianity under the banner of Catholicism to expand and be part and parcel to the politics and the monarchs of Europe. I get it, and I think it's super important, and I have no problem. I don't have any problems with Catholics, okay, or that they're, whether or not they're the right kind of Christian or not. I don't. But here's where I have a problem: is anyone that would say that that you have to have a group identity, or that you have to be part of a collective relationship or whatever to get you got to go through the Catholic door to get to the Jesus door to get to the Father in heaven. You got to go through the Mormon door to get to the Jesus door to get to the Father. That's not what Jesus said. He said, through me. So I'm suggesting, where I'm at anyway, I'm not saying I absolutely know I'm right on this, but it doesn't feel right to me. It feels like you're making yourself an idol. It feels like you're making the church an idol. It comes before Jesus and God. You've got to go through our church. So anytime, to me, the church is not going to get you to heaven. The church may help you to find Jesus to get you to heaven. Ideally, that's what church is for. Church is to help you in your personal relationship with Jesus. But it's a personal relationship. It's it's not a collective relationship. You have a individual important role to play, and God uses you individually in this grand plan. And He's only able to use you if you're worthy, right? Although he'll use you when you won't realize it, but you're always being you have to wonder where your thoughts come from. You have to wonder where all these synchronicities come from. You have to wonder why this person ran into you this day at this time. You have to wonder why all these things happen. And sometimes you'll just be like, wow, that's crazy. Like the right thing happened at the right time. Like that's so crazy. Or if one little thing would have happened different, then this wouldn't have happened. Like, wow. So there is this cosmic dimension that we can't understand that we're part of. And really, you're gonna be used in it one way or the other. But if you're spreading AIDS in and about you, right? Like some people call it karma or whatever, but you're not gonna have blessings coming about you, right? You're going to reap what you sow, if you will, right? You're going to wonder why life's tough and why you're conflicted and why you can't find peace when you're not focused on, again, trying to have that personal relationship with Jesus. But it's not about, like, pretty soon you start just like becoming like a Jay, where you're all proud of yourself because it's like, oh, I'm a Catholic, I'm good. Or oh, I'm a Mormon, oh, I'm good. Oh, I did the Eucharist thing, I'm good. Or, I did the hokey pokey, right? Like that's literally how I think of it. It's like the hokey pokey. Like you put your right foot, do it on, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. It's all about the hokey pokey with these churches sometimes, right? You got to do this, you got to do that, and it becomes that traditionalism or that stuff that Jesus was saying is, that even Paul was saying that's not it, right? That's not it. Like, oh, look at our weenies. They're all sculpted up good. We're circumcised. We're okay with God. And Paul's like, wait a minute. It's not about how your weenie is sculpted up. It's how your heart is sculpted up that matters to God, right? And so you lose sight of what's important in whatever that tradition might have been made to remind you of in the beginning, and then you make the tradition itself the gateway, when the tradition was to remind you of the gateway. Anyway, I disagree a little bit with Homeboy on this is. I think that all Christians, it breaks my heart to hear that the Christians in Syria are under attack. The Christians in Palestine are under attack. I mean, that anybody be under attack. But particularly that Christians just get ignored in whatever battle, Lebanon, Syria, wherever it is. There's plenty of Christians in the Middle East, and nobody talks about them. Nobody cares that they're getting butchered out. Nobody talks about their churches getting butchered out, the kids, nothing. In fact, a lot of Zionists are sitting there clapping their hands like, barking like seals and clapping their hands because they think it's going to bring back it's sick. It's sick. So, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, killing Christians. Nobody talks about it. That's what that was all about, was just wiping out Christians. So my heart breaks for any Christians. I don't care what title or sect or schism that they're from. My heart cries for any Christian that might be out there in the first place, because as wrong as they may be in their philosophy or in their caught up in their particular dogma of their particular sect or whatever, they may not have it exactly right. At least they've got Jesus on their mind somewhere, right? At least that's somewhere there. You can have a conversation with that person, right? Because this person, if they're a Christian, loves Jesus. That's a great place to start. Okay, and that's a great place to get behind everyone who can say that. So you want to talk about a unity, that should be the unity. The unity should be, do you love Jesus or not? Bam. And by the way, if you say you need to blot out Amalek, well, you're making it intolerable, and you're making it, right? This town isn't big enough for the both of us if you're going to act like that. You're not a good enough neighbor. You're not tolerant enough to allow me to love Jesus. So maybe that's what we need to draw the line at. Do you love Jesus or not? And we'll just blot out whoever doesn't love Jesus. How does that sound? How do you feel about that? You see what I'm saying? When you turn it around, maybe you can is it possible? Is it possible when you have such a narcissistic thing going on, being sort of led and headed up by this rabbinic debate society that feels all prideful about their chosenness, is it possible that you can have a conversation and be like, let's switch this around. Let's say you have to love Jesus or you die. What do you think about that? We'll guillotine the ones that don't love Jesus. You ready for that? Does that sound good? We'll call it the 7 up your butt J laws. Or, I mean, whatever. We'll just make some crap up like you guys do. Does that sound good? Now, I mean, all right, I've gotten all over the place on this video, so I apologize. But, yeah, I disagree. It's a personal relationship. That's it. God bless.